beckon to destination.
That was awesome.
Forgotten.
Oh man, that
This
infinite
is
tone.
Harbor Town.
Dun 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 dun.
Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scene.
So,
Unique, flexible, and playable. Harbor Town will take your game.
I can't wait till Saturday night. I am going to have fun with these living Greyhawkers, these 3.5ers. I'm gonna have a blast. Right, Casey? If you're on? Oh, he's not on yet. So, be a good time. Take that off there. They're already raiding before.
Yeah.
Raiding during the.
You see, they're raiding in the intro.
Raiding in the intros.
Yeah.
All right.
Ambushed.
Ambushed in the intros, guys. That's awesome.
We didn't make the
Look at that. We're
surprise
getting
roll.
followed.
Yeah, we're not ready yet.
That's okay.
Yeah, this
awesome.
Is fun.
You get to see ads, guys, for another 8 minutes or 7 minutes. I apologize for that, but what do you gotta do? So there's Carlos. So thank you for that raid, box, and thank you for the follow. I will pop them all up once I get onto my front page. Yes, Carlos. I'm gonna defend Carl Sargent a lot too, man.
Who's it's Carl Sargent here? I'm confused.
Thank you guys, though. Really appreciate it. As we get cranking up here. Now I'm gonna hit another wrong button because I always do. There we go. Some sponsor stuff. Hopefully everyone's well tonight. I am. I'm excited. I was watching Blue Box's stream, and it really got me very excited about some new Greyhawk content, new Greyhawk blood coming in, and that's exciting in itself. Very, very exciting. Yep, I will hang in there. I'll start early. I'll start at yeah. There's we'll get Chiffus. I'll give you a lot of tips. There's a lot of different things you can do as far as that goes, and you just gotta. And I've said this in a discussion the other night. Awesome channel, awesome channel.
No pressure.
Yeah.
So, but I will see if I can get someone to link off of Twitch that Gavin show too for you. That you can watch after this one here, because you don't want to miss this one, of course. That'd be please note that newcomers and old schoolers alike are welcome here. Absolutely. So. Oh, cool. There you go. Andre was always like, I can't see anything. That's good. I'm glad to see that. Glad to see and hear that, man, because it was upsetting me that you couldn't actually watch anything.
Jason's not getting sound.
What's that? Jason's not getting sound?
Uh-oh.
So, Josh, thanks, Zarathon. Josh, can you link for Cheffis link in the Gavin number 90, beginning a new Greyhawk campaign into chat for me? That'd be awesome. Thanks, man. Man, Ian, I'm glad you guys are on West Coast and you're on so late. It's a shame. Here, I got to do this. I got to do the Tim one because we have a date next for the next Tim was kind enough to join us. So
Cool.
doing an era tonight in Greyhawk, a very very controversial but cool era.
In brief, I would say.
Controversial? What do you mean?
Well, you'll see.
Oh, okay. And that was a fun one. Yeah.
So at Chifus, there's the one after this that you want to catch. Beginning of Greyhawk campaign. I'm going to give you some really good tips and some modules that are all first level and stuff that you can start off with that we did. That would be a real good starting point for you. So. Tonight, games tomorrow night. Games tomorrow night. Tonight's Legends and Lore. Yep. Schedule under Hoovel is always the same here. Let me here. I'll throw this up for you. Next week is tomorrow. Of course, now watch. My shout-outs aren't going to work. Oh, there we go. Yep. So it's Legends Lore Wednesday nights, My Game Thursday night, Saturday night specials every other Saturday right now, and then Gavin Sunday night. So look at that. We'll start 2 minutes early.
Don't worry, Under Hoovel. I'm rolling stats right now.
I'm trying to find my physical copy of the books. I've read the PDF.
You can't find it?
I have the box, but
What's up, Garnet? How you doing?
Somewhere around here. So we'll see. I'll find them. I'll keep
Oh,
looking.
bring it up there. Anna is looking. I can't locate
Sorry,
it.
now I
Good
have
evening.
to-
You're fine. Good evening, everyone. Hey, I'm Jay Killer Gazumba, and I got with me, as usual, Adam Meyer and
Hey.
Greyhawk Mike Bridges. Welcome to another Legends and Lore. As I started 2 minutes early. Normally I start a minute early, so I know there's still people coming on. But thank you all for coming on.
Episode 237.
What's that?
No, this-
No, it's episode 50.
No, it's episode
Thank you,
49.
everyone.
49.
It's 49.
Oh,
Next week
damn.
is episode 50 of
Next
Legends
week
and
is
Lore.
50. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Because Jay just sent me the ad for next week, so that's why.
Yes.
I was
Next week
confused.
is
Sorry.
50
Yep.
of Legends and Lore.
Yep. So we have one more episode. So we
Maybe
have
we
to have
should-
something special next week. So yeah.
Maybe we should do episode 51, and then we can have the lost episode. And then-
Yeah, we can have the lost episode.
Sure.
Yeah.
Josh
Since there's
Blah,
lost
man.
forests and a whole bunch of stuff being found. So yeah.
That's just not. Yeah, we're gonna party like it. Yeah, absolutely. What's
Yeah,
up,
they can
fans?
work.
A lot of regulars are coming on tonight, so cool. Rocks, no problem. So we have this one was suggested a while back. Thank you there, Mike. Really appreciate it. And let me pay homage to our raid that just came into, and a lot of the raiders are watching, and that didn't work. There it goes. So I can actually do that with the Streamlabs. Thank you there, Mike. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you're really starting to crank up yours as well. There's different eras, and we talked about there's the Gary Gygax early era. There's Living Greyhawks in era, right? And then there's the Carl Sargent era for the most part, with some Roger Moore thrown in at the end.
More Hawk, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
more at the end. So what we're gonna do is go over like time frames on this and some key points, stuff we like, stuff we don't like. But this era of Greyhawk is really interesting because it shakes everything up, and that's probably why. And thank you so very much, Carlos. That's why it's probably called why it is called From the Ashes. And let me get this one follow in there. Thank you, Eth. Oh my God, I can't even say that. Can someone Ethan DVE Games? Oh my gosh!
I missed
thank,
it.
Yeah,
thank you for
something.
coming in
Yep.
on during Blue Box's raid, and You got me. I'm a little. I've been in my house for like 70. I don't know how many days it's been, and I'm going a
For me,
little
it's
stir crazy.
52 days or something like that in quarantine. So,
Wow.
but I
Yeah.
was actually outside today. I actually took
Ethan,
the car out for the first time in
thank
2
you.
weeks. Yeah.
Oh, you really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I went to the doctor to draw some blood. That was it. So nothing, just my regular yearly checkup.
Holy
Yeah.
geek dice.
Thanks, Fraley. Oh, it's Geek. It's Sean Geek Dice. So
Okay.
so
Yeah.
real quick here.
Thank you.
We got a hype train running too at level 3,
Dang.
guys. Awesome. So, you gave Mario one there too. I was really ecstatic that Stella and Sean came on when we did our starting Greyhawk episode that Sunday on Gavin. And it was you mean and Jason, I think, that night, right? And
Yes.
about starting up the campaign. And then Stella was playing last night. Stella Luna. It was God. I don't know if I have a shout out for her. I got to make one up for her. She was playing Ghost of Saltmarsh, and Geek was playing it. And I was like, oh, awesome. So that's a great thing to see. Man, you hit all the great points there, Sean. Thank you. Oh man, I appreciate it. So what I'm going to do, and I said this to Stella that night on that Sunday, I'm going to run second part of the Horror in the Hools, Carlos. I'm going to run your part for them remotely because they played the first part of it at Gen Con in the Gen Con hostel with me. Along with Josh Sterrett, he played, and a couple other, and oh my God, and Taco Turtle played in that too. I gotta see if John Coward will come on. But Stella and Sean, I'm definitely gonna play that for you too. And then we're the second part. Carlos is half of it. Now that the location's permanently on the 576 map, right? The Dun Mounds on there. So, thank you for that, Sean. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Blue Box and all your crew for coming on tonight and raiding in. And hopefully we'll have a great discussion here. All right. From the ashes, first thing that comes to mind, Mike.
Phoenix.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just.
Oh, did I kill the conversation?
No, you just shocked me. That's all. But I'm shockable, right? So.
Yeah. First thing I'll say is the box. It's a box set. It follows in the Greyhawk box set's footsteps.
Tradition. Yeah.
The box set.
And the image is cool. It's the
Oh,
image
yours is
from
worse than mine.
the original box set, but now it's burning and the knights are undeads
It's very deep.
and stuff. So
It's
yeah.
burning. There's ashes.
I feel so inferior with John opening up his on his stream about an hour ago, and I was like, "Oh my God, that thing is crisp. That thing like cracked, crackled." But I have something even better.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. Good, Anna. What's your first thoughts?
He screwed up Porn Society.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's one of the few things that I don't like about Carl Sargent.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm very fond of all the cool things he did. For most of them, for the most part, I have a few small caveats, and Horn Society is the biggest one. But he needed to make some sacrifice. It's like a good TV series. At least one of the main characters have to die in order to make it kind of cool. So I can live with the sacrifice, kind of, almost. Yeah.
It started from the Ashes box set, though. Let's be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Started with
I know what you're having there. Yep, and I have that box set somewhere here too. Yeah.
This is my shrink wrapped copy of Wars.
Oh, you have a shrink wrapped
Yes, I
copy.
do.
Oh wow.
That's because it's not worth letting out of the shrink.
No, you will lose all the counters. My counters actually get lost when I moved from Sweden to here, and I was like, damn, they got lost. Yes,
hey,
that's the only thing I lost.
Tackle box full of them. I can send you some.
Oh, okay. We'll think about that for some convention. I have them in the actually in the booklet. There are images of them, so I've taken the silhouettes and reused them. But yeah.
It's sad that you can take Greyhawk Wars and take the booklet out and the counters maybe and not ever use it.
Yeah.
The game.
So this is 1991. Oh my God! Look at that. We even got the Greyhawk Rodner on tonight.
Yay! Awesome. Hi, Joe.
Joe
Joe.
Block. Good to see you, Joe, and the rest of the crew. And look at that. I got a nice shout out for you, too. I'm trying to hit everyone I got a shout out for it. It's on. So thanks, guys.
And Carlos and
Will
everyone.
and the whole guys. Thank you so very much. So this box set is 1991. Everyone's like, oh, cool. They brought out a war game kind of like Lord of the Rings. Wow, that's awesome. And now I know, Mike, you liked some of the cool magic items that are in here because you actually did a post on them.
Yeah. I was like, well, what's this magic item? I never heard of Dura's deadly poison.
Did anyone actually manage to finish that game? I remember we played it forever before a session to end. We played it for like a whole weekend and we didn't manage to finish it. I don't know what we did wrong, but maybe we were too tired at the end or not grown up enough and didn't understand English enough. I don't know.
Not me, Gary. Not me, Gary. I'm not burning them. No way. I'm just setting up the whole scenario here.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't want to derail you too much here, but those magic items mentioned in Greg Wars, if you go to Greyhawk Grognard, he has some really good write-ups on them for 5th edition.
Oh, look, Jimmy, you got me back because I busted your stone something fierce during that DM round table. I did. I really busted him something fierce when I said, you were Amai's hero. So 1991 rolls around and I said, oh, this is cool. Now I didn't get that initially because I'm like, I don't need that. And then 1992 comes. And I'm 12 years into my campaign. Done college. You know, just I forget what I was doing. Wasn't married yet. I don't even know if I was with my wife yet. It was right around that time period. And then I'm like, what the heck did they do to my Greyhawk? Because I'm 11, 12 years into a campaign now, and my gosh, this is like some major changes. And it's it was interesting to say the least. So let's synopsize what actually happens in this box set from the beginning. Okay. Mike, I think you're going to be the best to start us off because I know you don't like the barbarian, what happened to the barbarian lands.
Right.
But I think that you'd be the best one to start us, take us on this ride for this. So go for it.
So I guess you're referring to Carl Sargent doing 5 Shall Be One. The quest to set up the freeing Vatoon and uniting the barbarians, and then the barbarians go on a conquering spree, which leads into Greyhawk Wars and all that, which then leads into From the Ashes. And I really think I'm torn because I think they dropped the ball by Sargent saying, well, it didn't, you played out that module like I did. I don't know if everyone did. But I played
2 modules. You had to play out Howl from the North too.
Howl from the North, yeah.
You had to play them both out because the first was only 3. Yeah.
So I played them out, and in my campaign, the barbarians were united. They weren't bamboozled, or they were bamboozled, but they weren't. They didn't break up. And so I'm torn that they dropped the ball on that. But on the other hand, is the god of deception, so maybe that is in character. I just think that the eastern side of the map would have been maybe a little more interesting if the barbarians had got involved more. Otherwise, that's my rant on that.
Tell everyone what actually happens, though. Like, what does the storyline go after this?
The whole Greyhawk War starts in the Hold of Stonefist attacking 10. But he's sort of in cahoots with Ayuz, if I recall. So it's like the Fists are doing Ayuz's dirty work for him. And I think they eventually find out later, but by then it's too late, kind of. And it's just like this snowball effect. Oh, well, if they're attacking so-and-so, we'll attack so-and-so.
Yeah, it seems like there are 2 main events, and then you have a lot of follow-ups that kind of take the chance when the world is on fire. They're going to see if they can make something. And the two main events I'm thinking about is IU's going for a kind of a pre-planned seduction conquest, kind of conquering the world's thing. Meaning he goes up there, plays the god Vatun in order to trick the barbarians into going on his side and attacking others that should be their friends, kind of, and get that riled up, and then he attacks Furyundi and Shield Lance and
Wow.
Horde Society and the whole bit. And the other thing I'm thinking about is the destruction or the breakup of the Great Kingdom, with Ivid going completely bonkers and going, basically it's the kind of the final explosion of the Great Kingdom when they succumb down into whatever, total chaos, so to speak. Those two events, and then you have a lot of other things that happens as a
Sergeant's also responsible for outing the Scarlet Brotherhood.
Yes, but to me it seems like they took the chance to act when the world was in chaos, rather than being the big instigators. I
think they jumped in like a couple years into the Great War.
Yeah, they waited for the right moment. They were planning and planning, and then when IU's and the Great Kingdom collapsed and started their disintegration, and IU's came on the board game, so to speak, and started his thing, they took a chance and jumped on it as well, like Ket and a whole bunch of others. But now I'm going off thing here, so
it's okay, and we tend to go off on a tangent. I guarantee there's going to be a lot of questions, but what I saw was machinations that Carl Sargent decided were all going to the wrong place at the wrong time. Events happen, kind of what the Vatun and Stonefist taking 10 and no one doing anything about it, kind of relayed to me like the Sudetenland in World War II with Germany, right? And then no one did anything about it, and then all hell breaks loose, right? I kind of saw that a little bit of an analogy. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that happens first with the Stonefisters because they're basically being duped by IUs, and then Furyundi's really not ready, but Furyundi at least holds off for the most part, and then the Shieldlands is never ready, as we all know, and the Shieldlands gets obliterated completely.
Well, the Shieldlands, by virtue of their name, are supposed to be ready at all times.
Yeah,
it's just indefensible.
You would think.
But they were also the ones that have been in the war much longer. Furyundi have been outside of, not been in conflict, but Shieldlands have been attacked by the Horn Society and Bandit Kingdoms just prior to this. So they were war weary and been at it for years when all the From the Ashes unfolds. So that's kind of it. And then Furyundi didn't help them. So there is a little bit of precedent. I can understand reading that. I can understand the Shieldlanders a little bit more than I did originally, so to speak, because then I thought it was just dumbheaded and didn't. So I'm starting to defending them a little bit.
Well, the storylines are cool, and there's a lot of content, and there's a lot of content in this box set in particular that expands on the Free City Greyhawk box set, which I loved. Because they actually explain what happens to characters later on. Like Carlos's favorite, Krista the Street Urchin, is mentioned as where she is now. Jan Dezur, the specialty priestess of Tritharian, it's mentioned where she is. The Fellowship of the Torch, one of my favorite mercenary groups that are in published source of all time, except for one exception. I don't like them killing off Grimmy Fisher, the gnome with the rubber chicken. It was such a mainstay in my campaign before that. And so IUS takes over a lot of swaths of land and goes into Furyundi a fair amount of miles, which a lot of people forget about. Takes over a lot
it takes like a third of the country almost.
More, probably I'd say
a quarter
20%.
to a third. Something like that.
And then there's a lot of the Vespi Forest, all the Shieldlands, all of 10. The Theocracy of the
Horn
Pale
Society, Bandit Kingdoms,
Bandit
up the
Kingdoms,
north
Horn
like crazy.
Society, are all gone, and it's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. But that's only half the story. And Anna, you can talk about the Ivid the Undying half.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of interesting because that was something that also been in the books long time for long time, and then he kind of put the final straw when Ivid the fifth, I think, in that general line of rulers, he came to the throne, and he started getting really pissy at all the ones starting to obliterate the and turning his underlings and provincial rulers into animuses, and he started a conquest to conquer Almor, and Osson went on a killing spree, and he got really pissy, and he got into a conflict with Nairon. He sent his best general, that I should have the name of. Hang on a second here. I have the heraldry here. Yeah. Sephrin, Duke Sephrin, he sent him on a killing spree that turned into a murderous campaign beyond what's been seen for hundreds of years. That managed rivals Ayu's conquest of Furundi as one of the bloodiest things for hundreds centuries in the Flannies, and grounded into another stalemate. So and that is kind of the biggest premises, but then the whole thing collapses into, and it becomes an infighting in Rossi's, where the federal level, the imperial level in the Great Kingdom kind of succumbs into its own internal affairs, and the whole thing starts falling apart. And then you come to Ivid the Undying, and then further in the Living Greyhawk era, some years afterwards, that kind of deals with how that is being rebuilt. We don't see the end of it from the ashes. We just see the collapse. We don't see what happens afterwards. It's more like coming into a black hole. But I love that from a gaming perspective. It's an awesome environment to game in. For me, it's awesome. It's political intrigue, military, magic, horror, and all that, Death Knights and God knows what. So it's a fantastic soup to adventure in.
I'll jump right back in here real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Interestingly, 585 is at the end of the Great Wars. That's when From the Ashes is set. Interestingly enough, this year there's a chapter in one of the parts of the books. I can't remember if it's the Atlas. It's a two books in the From the Ashes
my
box.
covers are long fallen off, guys.
Yeah, mine are faded.
Yeah.
There's a chapter in there called Tales of the Year of Peace. 585 is the year of peace.
The year
that's
of
the
fighting
biggest
stopped.
irony of all, and that's one of my biggest caveats. But we'll get to that. Yeah.
It is so. This starts 583, 584 in Game Time published source. Now, I was past that already in my campaign.
Ah, okay. So you
so
could retroactively fit it in.
I was like, when the hell am I going to do this and fit this in? And of course, my note paperwork is buried somewhere. All right, so I had to adventure 218. I called Advances of Evil, and that's when I did it. And it was a few years later in Game Time in my game, but who cares? Just because I was past that. But I had to incorporate all this in the goods and the bits. Thank you, Arthart. Thank you so very much for that. But and that's not a big deal because that's what you got to do with a campaign. I'm not gonna go back or whatever. But I really, when I thought about it, I'm like, there's some things I don't like. The depths of a couple characters. I didn't like. I don't like the Scarlet Brotherhood at all. Mike and I agree 100% with the Sea Princes and the Scarlet Brotherhood.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, I think the whole West was underplayed. That's where Q-Land and all that, Shildamar Valley, Living Greyhawk really got to build them up. And Gary Holian, who's right here, wrote a lot of it. I think it was just underplayed, and the Sea Princes were casually conquered just because it fit a peg.
Yeah, I get the sense that they. Oh, sorry.
It was like an overnight thing. It was like gone, right? I mean, and he actually says that in the book that almost it's like an overnight. But
yeah,
I ain't saying it's
public. I think it's only you. Hopefully, I think we're cruising right along here. So hopefully it's you.
Frozen.
So, Go ahead, Anna. I didn't mean to cut you
I
off
was
there.
going to say that I think I get the feel that they wanted to, Sardian wanted to uproot and upset and turn around the whole of the setting.
Right.
And then he got there. I think it's awesome. I love the playbook and how he deceived and got the Horn Society, even if I would love to have them as another bad guy. But I love that. And the Great Kingdom, I love how he wrote, how that went bust, so to speak, and all the stuff happening. But then it's like he just like, I need to uproot the other ones too, and he was out of good ideas, and he just started, there are things just coming everywhere because of it. So yeah,
Phantom brings up a great point, and that is, if they didn't do something major from the ashes, what are they going to do with the campaign setting? It's kind of sitting there at this point.
That's true. When you do something, you want to do it.
He's absolutely right. Great point. Is that I love that evil came forward a lot. Now I got something to really fight. And
my only side rant on that is when I originally was reading about the Scarlet Brotherhood, with what little information we had, I was fine with the infiltrating. I was fine with the assassinating. I was one of their 3 legs of government as assassins. So in hindsight, if I were to do Greyhawk Wars from the Ashes, I would have the Scarlet Brotherhood not go out and try to militarily do things like everyone else. They should have been conquering, like, power behind the throne type stuff. They should have been replacing rulers, influencing rulers, killing rulers. They didn't have to raise an army at all.
True, I agree, and they're more of I mean, thank God Skagga's not on, but they're all monks for the most part and assassins. So you know.
But I like the grittiness. When I read the first chapters in the book today, when they talked about how the feelings were in the various countries of the Flannies, and people got scared and all that, that was a much more to me like, ooh, this is a campaign setting I want to play in and run games in, more than the original book, because now all of a sudden you got the gritty feel and stuff that I wanted. So when I read the first, like, that's like 30 years ago, so I liked it, but then it was more like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. Now when I read it, it was more like enjoying it. So I really like the tone in this way. I really do. Yeah.
I don't wonder, but this is why I believe Carl Sargent did some work with Games Workshop. And if so
Battle System came out at this time.
Yeah, that to me says it influenced his Greyhawk writing. Because the dark gritty.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Gary makes a great point, saying it could have been even more wacky. So be thankful it was only so wacky. That's a very good point.
And we always like the dark side. You know, Scandinavian gritty and stuff. So yeah, I'm a victim of it, so to speak. So I'm a good Scandinavian that way. I like my dirty, trick, dark, sinister kind of.
So one thing, Anna, you really forgot to mention, and I have to talk about the Great Kingdom real quick again before we move on to. So Ivid, like, he got his butt kicked, right, in that fight with Nyrond. Is that what happened?
Not really. He was kind of succumbing to his own inner demons at court rather than that. I don't get the sense that he was out on the field or anything. He was in court and got more and more angry, losing control, paranoid, lashing out at everybody and losing control from the inside rather than the outside, so to speak. Yeah. He wasn't out there in the field getting kicked. He was in court getting succumbed to his hatred and probably
trying to dictate a war 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lashing out and creating the more devious plots of killing his underlings, turning them into animuses, and that way losing his whole empire.
So it says in here, though, so unsurprisingly, as Nyrond defeated Erdi forces and their demented monarch offered them death and eternal relentlessness as a gift, they had him assassinated. He was assassinated by the
Oh yeah,
nobles.
that eventually there was someone who and the whole of Rossi's fell into magical disjunction kind of thing eventually, yes. But I don't know who did it, and I don't know if there's any, meaning they could numbers of it could be one of his top generals who thought that it can topple him and take his place, one of the enemies from somewhere else. I don't know, but yeah, the whole of the city got engulfed in a magical mayhem and maelstrom at the end, and you have the very powerful court wizards that was there, and devils, because and that's another interesting thing. We had on the Flanders Geographical Society group, there was a post that came like yesterday or today that was awesome. Someone asked, what there is some sources saying it was demons that the house Nalex was had dealings with demons or devils or fiends or whatever, and to me, I always seen it as devils, that that there's some back in the Nalex, the first Ivid probably sold his soul and all his coming generation souls to the devil to get the help to create the great kingdom at large, so to speak, and come to power. So and eventually seems like Ivid, they got the best of him, and he kind of succumbed to it completely.
The line of Vivids kind of went down.
Yeah, I mean, it says right in here, priest of Hexter with fiendish aid, most agree.
Yeah, exactly. And fiendish, and in my campaign, I interpreted as that they are the devils, Hextorians, since Hextor is the herald of hell, so to speak. So they sold their soul to Asmodeus himself, and built on it, and now they have to cash in and
it's kind of hard not to have a grim, dark aftermath of a war when Ius is throwing around demons and Great King's throwing around devils.
Yep.
We haven't even got to some of the better parts yet. This is just
oh,
prelude.
I think that is one of the better parts. Yeah.
So I'm going to apologize up front.
Yep.
And Gary said this. This is the fastest chat has ever gone in our ever. So thank you.
It's hard to follow.
We really love the participation. But if something slips through the cracks, please just bring it back up again, okay? Because I really appreciate you guys and gals, everyone really coming to participate in this discussion. It makes us all feel that the community is growing, and that's what this is all about. So thank you so very much. So getting back to Ivid real quick. So he decides, I don't need all these servants, and I don't need all these generals. I'll just kill them all and animate them and make this thing called an animus now.
Yeah, he wants them loyal, so to speak, so they can't they can serve him in perpetuity or forever, and also they will be loyal to him, no questions asked, so to speak. I think that was and also to punish them. I think it's all of these things combined that he takes these measures. Yeah.
So, I mean, that is a true second edition Greyhawk monster.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't appear anywhere in first edition. There's a couple.
You have another one that you showed me a while ago that was simply awesome. We have to talk about that when we get to Ius later.
Okay.
So,
okay. Yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple of Iusian ones.
Yeah.
There's even an Iusian one that certain people are going to see on Saturday night because I love them so much. Yeah.
And that one you showed me was even described in the From the Ashes in the Atlas of the Flanese book. It was talked about like, ooh, and it was so
very cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, let's talk about some of the publications post From the Ashes where they go into a little bit more detail. So bring it on. That's right, Casey. Bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah. So this, along with the Marklands, I count as a pair. So, and I know Will once, Wicked Studios once said, what are your 3 favorite publications of all time? Number 1 is the Free City Grail box set for me. Number 2 is the Slavers reference tied with Ius Evil and the Marklands combined, because you have to have both of them.
Yeah.
So these also are missing covers.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So they're downstairs.
Warren Books of Loved book.
Yeah. They're oh yeah, absolutely. Now I want to also pay, and I'm gonna flip through to something real quick. I want to pay thanks to my friend, my French friend Dungeon Meister on DeviantArt. The pictures you've probably seen them once go through. These pictures are of the Greater Boneheart. Okay, these are all the Greater Boneheart members. So let me get to that.
Get to it.
All right, there you go. All right, so starting with Althea. So let's start the stroller at that point here. So boom, boom. We'll start it up right there. All right. So he does a great. I mean, the level of that is Althea and Helga. That's Althea. So
She the good looking one.
I think Helga is. Yeah, the
Okay.
Boneheart are really nasty. So Ayus has levels of, and one great thing about this publication, the specialty priest, which I use, of Ayus is in here.
You get a lot.
You get a lot, but they trick you because they say, well, there's certain spells that are in the From the Ashes set. There's some in this reference. There's some in that reference. You're like, oh, geez, I got to get all these references together. Oh, yeah. So some of the spells. Like, and there's the one that, are you talking about the Thassalos? Is that the one you're talking about, Anna?
Yes.
Okay, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, you talk about it. You found it. You know the details better than I do.
So in the back of in the free the From the Ashes box set, on the back of some of the monsters they have in there, the addendums like the Animus and the Lossol is in there, and a bunch of other things. They have what's called a Thassalos, and it's basically a golem made out of body parts and bones, but it can become sentient, and you need a very high level priest of Ayus, and you need a wizard, I think, as well, to put these things together. And they're nasty because of their sentience. The graders, they have magic resistance, multiple arms. I should have put on a picture up of one of those.
Oh yeah, but it's awesome. Yeah. And it
really
came on these second edition monster sheets that you put in these binders, the monster binders.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
where I got it. Yeah,
absolutely. That's where it is. But the Thassalos is a nasty creation. And there's also in this book a boatload of Ayus only specialty priest spells.
Yep.
In this book.
Awesome bone
and
chain and
blood gloat.
Yeah, there's so many awesome spells. I converted them to Pathfinder 1, and now I need to convert them to Pathfinder 2. But there are a whole bunch of fantastic cool spells.
And Nagoya Joe. See, man, my South Jersey accent is correct. There's magic items too. There's the black staff, the ebon skulls, the bone wands. One of my players' favorites, especially Alan, the gas robe. He loves wearing them. So clawed gauntlets, all sorts of cool things in this reference. So the basis for creating your own Ayus specialty priest is all there. You just got to add some spells. They have lists up here. It needs to be expanded on. See, the lists are right there. Right? Whoops, that way. You need to expand on them. Master, what's up, man? So, but the the Greater Boneheart itself is missing. It has 5 members currently, not 6, because good old Vane, who's like always the butt of jokes, has been demoted because he screwed up in Ed Munford. The one that's the island in the near deep. That's Ed Munford, right?
Yeah, Edmundford. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of messes that up, and they lose. Patch Patch the Greater priest is destroyed, along with one of his mages, I believe, is also destroyed.
So there's Null and Jumper and
that's Kerman Mindbender up right now.
Oh yes.
So here, these let me start back at the beginning. I'll go through them real quick. These pictures are brilliant, and all you have to do is ask, and he'll give you permission for any of his Greyhawk stuff. So there's Althea, and then there's Helga. I mean, there's blood everywhere, of course. Both the high priestesses of Ayus after the From the Ashes and during the time of this publication, and then you have Jumper, who's an illusionist, and he's kind of insane. He's like 6'4" and he's got bad arthritis or just there's a lot of weird people. I mean, I guess that's why you're chaotic evil, and then you have Panjasek. Now this is in Dungeon Meister's game. He's the one he ascends up, but he's actually a lesser Boneheart in this book. And I've actually had them come across Panjasek in the Shieldlands multiple times. He kind of sticks his nose into the Shieldlands as well. Then you have Kerman Mindbender. Now, everyone tells me Kerman tries to take the Codex for himself during a Living Greyhawk arc. Is that correct, Casey? But that's a different era. So, Yeah, Asher, it's great. His artwork is fantastic. And then there's Null, and if you get a real close up, he's got like acne, and it's really gross looking. So Ormond's died. Ormond's died during the war. Yeah. So very, very fantastic artwork done there. And someone give me, tell me who this is.
Nope.
Come on, no one knows who that is.
Elf.
Nope.
Looks like. No elf. Okay, pointy ears at least. No.
Galadriel, you're really close there, Gitano. This is the Elven version. Yes, Carlos got it. It's the Elvish version of Philidor the Blue Wizard in the Vespi. So Dungeon Meister actually made this character up.
So there's an Elven version of
yes, and that is referenced in the Marklands. Yep. Philidor is in the Marklands at the same time Philidor is in Greyhawk City as a human. Okay, so you figured that one out. So if someone, the color threw you off on that, but great job there, Carlos, on that. So he's done a lot of great artwork. And I just wanted to go over some of the places where you can actually pull. If you're going to do something in this campaign, you can actually get pictures of these bone hearts right off the bat for use in your game. So Philidor is a enigma to this day because no one knows. There's conjecture. No one knows where they were going with him. I mean, I think he's like the Gandalf of frickin' Earth.
I think you have Greyhawk doesn't need more archmages. It has plenty.
No, I don't. What did Carlos win? Josh, come on, man. Carlos won me getting another one of his modules. How's that sound? Which I will gladly buy.
Carl Sargent added more than he took away.
Yes, that's true. That's my opinion too.
I agree with all of them, but yeah, he added Philidor, he added Vatun, he added Mayaheim.
Which I like.
Oh yes, me too. I love Mayaheim.
I call it Mayaheen because I don't know how to pronounce anything.
Yeah, Mayaheim.
Yeah. So I agree, Carlos. Philidor's least favorite of the works because it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I never used him in my games, so yeah.
What was going on there? And you're absolutely right, Gary. But you don't have to use Philidor. You don't. I mean, Philidor is that enigma. Yep. If it's a super high level gaming, you don't want to use Mordenkainen, and you want to use Philidor. If you're in the Vespi Forest, hey, cool. But that's up to you as well for that era. But
so it's interesting. We talk about the dark grittiness of Sergeant Hawk, but really what he was doing was, I think, maybe trying to break the balance here. Because what did he do? He added a good demigoddess. He added Philidor, who is, I'm assuming, also lawful good. He was trying to kind of give good a little more.
Do you think he went too far?
No, I think he was trying to bite everything in one go in one box set. He should have been kind of spread out a little bit, maybe. But that is something that they had a product schedule, and they probably knew that they couldn't release too many Greyhawk products in one go, so they simply squeezed as much in as possible in one product. So
it's one of those that we'll never know. Unfortunately,
he seeded so many mysterious places, fading lands, adventure locations. That, I mean, I was flipping through the books today, and if you would ask me if I ever used From the Ashes, I'd say no. There's so much stuff in there I've not used. I'd say I used maybe 5% of that book. There's so much in there that's new.
Yeah. And then if you add them from the Marklands and I use the Evil and one of my absolute favorites, even the Undying, meaning those are my three top products for Greyhawk by a long shot, so to speak. It's, to me, they are simply, to me, that's the meat and the potatoes that I want in for running my campaigns.
What is good about the I Use the Evil is it actually gives you troop totals, which I think, Mike, you used a lot in your wars. Is that true? Is it where you got them from? So, like, for example, humanoids in the Iusian lands, there's a whole listing of troop totals right there, which is great. So if you're into that, you can really you could really go with it as far as battles go. Dora Ka's in there if you're going to run the City of Skulls. That's great information. But the thing I love the most about this book, and Casey, I don't know how you guys handled your Bandit Kingdoms off of everything. There's a whole Bandit Kingdom section in this book. I'm not sure how it started off for you in Living Greyhawk. That would be a great discussion sometime in the future. And they also have the Rovers of the Barrens. But I love the NPCs in here. I mean, that alone makes it worth this entire book. I mean, there are pages and pages of unique characters I never had even heard of before, and I'm all just like we talked about on Sunday night. I'm all about that. And From the Ashes, there's some great ones. Yeah, I was saying, John, how inept I feel with my box set compared to the box set you opened up on the show.
I dug my box set out of the attic.
It's way better than mine.
This, and look what was on the inside, though.
Oh,
that's awesome! Too here, a bust a week on Casey. Oh, that was awesome. Oh, that was so funny. Oh my gosh, I have to run that ad again. Oh my gosh. So all the Boneheart and all the Lesser Boneheart are in here. And so you have wonderful people like Mescaline, who's actually a vampire. Okay, part of the Lesser Boneheart. Mm-hmm. I think he's in Not Grabford. What am I saying? Oh gosh, what's that? Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. He's way up there, right north of Furyundi, in one of those locations.
Not Molag.
No, he's actually
Stasser or Heller?
I was right. It's Bradford.
Okay. Yeah, Bradford. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, Mescaline. Did I pronounce that wrong? Masculine.
Mescaline.
You gotta remember.
Like Maybelline.
Remember Left Coast Scott. I butcher everything. I do.
Mescaline.
Yeah.
It's like the drum.
All right, I can take the busting. That's funny. And Vane is in here, and I would deal with Vane. Vane is a major character in the Expedition to the Ruins of Greyhawk. The big one is Zenvaline with an X. He's like the upcoming rising star, and everyone thinks he's going to be the next one that actually overtakes Furyundi and the Vespi Forest. There's also the Bone Shadow in here. So, Mike, do you know anything about the Bone Shadow?
Not really.
Okay, Anna?
Not a whole lot.
They are the secret agents. The other ones are the Boneheart are the ones that administer and run this country. The Bone Shadow are the ones that kind of reach out and changes things in other countries, and he's Secret Service kind of thing. I get that more working that way. So it's
never really used
his
those.
MI6 kind of thing.
Nagoya Joe brings out Lord Omni is one of them.
Exactly, that's Omni and Keek and a bunch of others. Yeah.
Farrell, Bright Robe, Griswold Hairhand, and Lord Dorag.
They're the ones that go out and do things for him. His kind of his secret agents that go out and does his bidding in foreign lands and stuff. Yeah.
It is.
The Boneheart are the ones that administer.
Yeah, I think the reason I never used the Boneheart because that's all like behind the line stuff. I was always on the front lines. I'm doing the wars.
Okay.
The actual.
You didn't send them on secret missions to do things. I did that several times, and that was part of the fun to send them behind.
Great for the high level stuff.
I went through the lines. That was part of the tricky because that way I got some awesome scenes in the beginning of a campaign, and then they got behind the lines, and then they did missions, and then they needed to go back again. So I got like three highs in the campaign: the start, middle of the campaign where they actually did what they were supposed to do, and then getting back home again. So that was like a three-step approach with 3 crescendos in it.
So if anyone wants to know, like anyone who's new, why you can't buy Avid the Undying, it's because it was never released. And
exactly, it came out.
Enterprising people need to find the PDF. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. It came out as a Word document, and then people have made it into a PDF with the picture, the cover art, and the maps, and all that. And to me, it's the simply probably the best Greyhawk product I've read. It's fantastic.
Amazing that when TSR gets bought, that they didn't do something with that, because they know the whole Greg community would buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it was out there, that you would have bought it anyway, because now we knew it was so damn good.
We all have it. Yeah. We all have the PDF, and if they print it right now, I would buy multiple copies of it.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
Well, maybe they'll have Goodman Games re-release it in 5e version. Just kidding. I'm kidding, guys.
But it's not an adventure. It's a source book. So they seem to like the adventure modules. That's why it's a source book, like the Marklands and stuff. And they get forgotten, strangely, to me, because for me it's the modules I forget, but the source books I go back to.
I'm wondering, because we always celebrate I Use the Evil.
Yeah.
What if Ivid came out first? Do you think then
that will be interesting?
The other stuff would have followed.
That's a good. I think they really needed to get the IU's content out because it was all. That's a good point. I don't know. That's a great what if question.
It is IU's focused, isn't it?
Yeah, it is much more IU's focused. So.
For me, I always loved the Ivid Undying and things of the type, because that told me much more of the story of the whole setting.
Thank you, Gary.
It told me about meaning it's like knowing European history and then get a book about the Romans and Rome and all what went on there. And if you want to know how Europe worked 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, then you need to know about the Romans. And that's the feel I get. It was like that opened the whole chapter of Great Kingdom to me. And that's why I love that product so much. There are tons of I use Temple of Elemental Evil or whatever and stuff that explains and talks about I use and the stuff going on there. But there's only really one product that talks about, well, From the Ashes to some degree too. So and then thankfully Gary Julian and a bunch of Eric Mona and the others who wrote Living Greyhawk Gazetteer, they also stayed and explained what happened in the Great Kingdom even further. So after that, but even the Undying was kind of the first real take on the Great Kingdom itself. And I love that product for that.
A lot of great points made by Seeker, made by Gaetano here. And oh, look, there's Scott Casper's even on there. So it got me to knowledge post-war content my campaign. Well, that's cool. That's cool, Scott. Great to see you on. So let me just mention 3 quick characters I love in this, and then we'll move on. I love the Free Reavers, and Sharon Velvalinar's in here, and I just love her. The Sharon Smile. I love that character because she doesn't pay homage to IUs at all, and I actually expanded the Free Reaver territory on my map because I just
and I did it on the 576 map too, I think.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
And also the Free Reavers will play a big part in my upcoming campaign.
Awesome.
So yes,
that's
you
great.
sold me on the Free Reavers. So yeah.
And by the way, we're going to when down the road, Anna's going to have at least one show on her campaign. So, and whether it's at our Greyhawk Con or whether it's before or whether it's both, yes, we're going to do that.
Yep.
That would be awesome for everyone. All right, so Sharon's one. Grekton Selric, I'm sorry, is the second one. And now he's the head of the Torch of Grumsh, which are orcs that are not IUs orcs in the Vestry Forest that are fighting the IUsian orcs and Orogs in the Vestry Forest. And I love that. And I always, and we'll go to this in the Marklands real quick, I love the Vestry Forest setup that Sergeant did. One of my favorites. All the crossovers, and you have the Beastmen, the Sylvan Elves, the Knights of the Holy, Knights of the Hearts. You got the Order of Ulick up there now.
And you created the Elven Heartlands up there.
Yeah, and the Grey Elves, the Timeless Tree.
That kind of filled in how the elves work up there, and he gave me the seeds for how I dealt with that area in my campaign. So yeah.
It's awesome. And then the one that the bone I have.
Yeah, I laughed at Gary's my Deathhawk. Yep. And that's Deathhawk.
It's great. The bone I have, we're going to spend 30 seconds on this. I do not want this to start into a fight online. A Clavdra, worshiper of Loth, is in here. Drives me nuts. Okay. Yes. All right. That's all I'll say. There you go. She's worshiping Loth in this book.
Well, she might have done that back in the day, but ask Jerry, and she was a grass champion in the Gord books.
It's all over the place with that. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. And I've reached out to the Necromancer Games, Frog God Games people to try and get them on the show. Jason is helping me with that, by the way, probably for Gab and more. All right, Marklands. The Marklands has Fury in it, has an entire section I've never used on Nyrons ever. I don't look. It's
Yeah,
like it's pristine.
fantastic. Yeah.
There's a lot of detail in here, but Nyron's not our thing.
Yeah,
So
but it's that part of the Marklands with Nyron is a perfect kind of companion to Even the Undying, because it tells the story about what happened in Nyron when Even the Undying tells what happens inside the Great Kingdom, and they are two sides of the same conflict, so to speak. So you need to, if you read both, you get a really good sense of what happens with Duke Zephyrin and the fall of Allmore and all that stuff. So yeah.
It's and it's for us. My gosh, we have so much going on as it is. We're not going to use the eastern side of the map. It was just the way things were for expansion.
It took me decades to reach that part too, and I've only been there once, and now I want to come back. And thanks to David, and his awesome articles, the South, yeah. David Leonard, with the awesome fourth set of happenings in the South, the Greyhawk Musings in the South. That was an eye opener. So he made two campaigns are coming from that in the future. So
awesome.
Yep.
So Blue Box RPG, John is going, who raided into us earlier, is going to be starting Greyhawk on his channel. All right, some Greyhawk campaigning. So just putting that out there. It's in the works now. I'm helping him out, and I'm so looking forward to adding another great Greyhawk streamer to our community. So guys, please keep that in mind. So, all right, and I'll take your word for it on Nyron. I've used mostly the Vespi Forest section of this map and the of the book and the Fury part of the Marklands. And they have another agent, the Shadow Claw is in here, which is different from the Bone Shadow.
Yeah.
So the Shadow Claw is more of, I guess, really deeper than the Bone Shadow.
Yep. The Bone Shadow are the mercenaries you send out doing missions. The Shadow Claw are the really undercover to keep a track of, and probably also to keep his own people in check. It's his own interior security service, so to speak. So, yeah.
See, here's a missed opportunity. So IUS has like 2 different levels of operatives running around the Flaness. Yeah. Where's the Scarlet Brotherhood ones?
Yeah.
That we've been, hearing about. They were in the Sea Princes. They were in, the Iron League nations, but
they do that in the Scarlet Brotherhood reference, right? And I didn't even attach that because I don't even use it. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I should have attached it on for some people who want to utilize it, but I haven't because it's one of those. We're going to have enough discussion. Look, we're almost an hour in and we have barely tipped the surface on this. So, yeah, I mean, let's talk about some things. So, at this time, before something happens, they're building a road of skulls in Fury, which runs from Doraka all the way down, parallels the Vespi, and then starts running in through Fury. Now, here's the thing. So what was Gitano? I don't know what the subject was. The subject was this is great. But then they have these skulls on the road that do these screaming skulls, which is a spell in Eyes the Evil, and it is really nasty. I mean, if you get on that road and you're of good alignment, you're gonna get zonked super quick. They're also creating what's called a raising line over near Castle Elanestra. I love her because she has her tiergs there, and that's on like the Vespi Forest Fury border. And Sharnalim is her name, and she is a Knight of the Heart. So there's a lot going on in that area. So that was a good point about the Road of Skulls is one of the neat things going on in these two reference books. Take a look, though, if you ever get a chance, guys, and you want to play Druids, because I know Blue Box maybe want to do this or some others, the Vespi Forest Adventuring is where I would go because it is so huge. It's like Mirkwood sized, you know? It's huge.
Here's a mind-blowing question for you about the Road of Skulls.
Yeah.
So I use on the Raising Line, I think it is,
Mm-hmm.
has like our hordes of undead armies, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's constantly, they're raising armies to fight for Yandi and all that stuff. Those zombies and skeletons should all be headless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, they should be. Yep.
Yeah. So in Dora Ka, yeah, I think it was started way back, and then well, yeah, it's a point, another point of how many skeletons do you have and how many. Yeah, it's a true point there. But Dora Ka, I said that right.
Dora Ka.
I said that right. Yeah. Yeah. Bust my stones about something I said wrong. And go and utilize these books as you see fit as far as a campaign in this time frame. Furandi Adventuring is great. Shieldlands Adventuring is better, as Anna and I both say, because there's so much going on, and we haven't even gotten to that point yet. This is just the beginning of From the Ashes. This sets the beginning point, those books, right? And now we're going to move beyond that as to some other things that happen, which... Yeah, the road kind of disappears after some in Furandi after an event.
It's more of a trail, right?
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it's. I mean, I think they were trying to pull a full-fledged road from all the way from the Old Horn Society, Molag, all the way to Dorakaf, if I recall.
Well, he made the long march, the southern skull trail, but he was kind of lazy because the middle part there was not enough skulls. So the northern bit from the land of Ayus down a bit. There's like the first couple of 100 miles of skulls, and then the Molag built. There's one bit a couple of 100 miles from Molag north, but there's like half the way in the middle. There's like just like a trail.
That's what I'm saying. He'd have to wage a war just for raw materials for his road.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. In all the middle of this, a mage in the Circle of Eight loses his mind, along with Sir Robalar, and decides, I'm going to kill the entire Circle of Eight off, just for the heck of it. I mean, maybe I'm simplifying this.
In his defense, he's a clone.
You think he's a clone, or who?
Based on if you take it back to Vecna Lives.
Yeah. Rari's a clone or Robalar's a clone?
Rari.
Okay. So Rari is a clone, so I never heard that. They're all clones because of what happened in the Falcon, but right? Because the Falcon apparently killed. Rari that we all know decides to kill off the Circle of Eight and successfully destroys Ataluk and Tensor. And then says, I better get the hell out of here, and him and Robbler go into the Bright Desert.
Now, I think that was the plan from the beginning.
Okay.
Because they set up shop really quick.
Yeah. So this adventure, Rari the Trader, you get to go kill him if you so choose. Now, this has never happened in my campaign because my guys are a bunch of cowards.
He was a major thorn in my campaign, and they never could take him. He was just too powerful. They were scared to go after him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I don't think Walt is on, but Walt had these grandiose plans. He has a character named Lena. She's a mage thief, and she's like super high level. So, this is pre. Oh gosh, I guess this is post Return of the Eight, but pre some of the other things. And so he goes. This character goes to Mordenkainen and says, "Look, I'm of the proper power. You need there's now this is pre-Return of the Eight because there are no new spots yet. I want to join the circle." And Mordenkainen says, "No problem. Just bring back Rary's head for me.
Oh.
She never attempted to join the circle after that. Because I was ready to run that adventure. That didn't happen. So I have not run over to Rary the Trader to this point. So has anyone run it? Has anyone out there run Rary the Trader?
No,
I'm
I
curious. Did you, Mike, did you kill him?
No. I'm saying I used all the stuff in the book.
There's some great maps in there.
Too powerful to go after directly.
Sean's Geek Dice says almost. Scott Casper says no, never.
No,
no one has. That's crazy.
I stayed away from the most iconic ones. I haven't tried to kill IUs, and I haven't even used the Circle of 8 much. And then maybe, but I used Tensor a couple of times as a patron, giving them help or something a little bit. I have to go and beg for a little bit of help and got something. So I tried to stay away from them and go for mid villains out there somewhere. Yeah,
Asher's right. They did use him in Living Greyhawk. Some really good development there.
But he's still alive. In most people's campaigns, he's still alive.
Yeah. And here's the weird thing about that Rary the Trader thing. I don't know what they intended with that, but the follow-up on it was not, there was no call to go after this trader. I mean, after all, he blew up the council thing and killed a couple major wizards in the city of Greyhawk.
Yeah.
So why isn't the Guild of Wizards going after him? Why isn't the Circle 8 going after him? Well, the domain of Greyhawk, he's like right next to the Duchy of Ernst, and so on.
It was at this great signing. There were ambassadors
Yeah.
and stuff from the whole
But nobody went after him.
Yeah, meaning he should be the enemy of it will be like blowing up a G20 summit and you will get the whole world after you. So
nobody allied with him either. He's almost ignored.
Exactly.
Except
But
for
that's
Obolar.
so weird because the Scarlet Brotherhood would be up in arms helping him probably because at least your enemy's enemy is your friend, kind of. And yeah, so that is the whole signing and that Roblox that to me is kind of, I just skipped it. Yeah.
Okay.
I
now
skipped the whole thing. Yeah.
Our friend Dungeon Meister in his campaign, he actually has a picture of his corpse lying there, and he has a character. Her name is Aleda, who's actually a bastard daughter of Rary's and wants to seek revenge, and they end up killing him. So, and there's pictures of that on Dungeon Meister's page. But I don't know anyone else, not in the Monty Hall style.
In my campaign, which has got very Monty Hall 2nd edition, and I will be writing it up in my blog here pretty soon in several installments. Rary ends up sort of conquering the Flanez. I won't go into any more detail yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the furthest I went with it was that I simply said that Rary was the traitor that kind of somehow did something wrong with the Circle of 8, so he had to flee out in the Bright Desert. I haven't gone into it anymore. I haven't detailed it, whatever, but I had that kind of as a note, but the players had never gone in that direction, so I had never had to develop it. So I just
crux is Rary is a powerful wizard, very intelligent, and he knows he can't, much like the Scarlet Brother, he shouldn't be conquering militarily, so he has to use his brain to advance his plots.
It's interesting. We could probably spend an entire show discussing the machinations and the reasons and some direction for this character. It's because it just is a big plot. I mean, it just nothing happens.
The other underlying theme is that they're trying to get the Scorpion Crown, and then that will fix the Bright Desert.
I know Gary has a bone for Mordenkainen and a hardcore, hard-on bone for Mordenkainen, which is kind of cool.
Is Mordenkainen active in From the Ashes era?
Yeah, a little, not much, but he's active in the 3.5 era. He's the main.
So after
he's the main individual that puts you on expeditions to the ruins of Greyhawk, and that's written by Eric Mona.
So
he's mentioned 11 times in From the Ashes. So yeah.
Okay.
So
he's mentioned 11 times. So yeah.
Okay, now this adventure is before all this, but you had to run this. So, and this is where I threw this in because this makes sense because the characters are in this. So Warner Sturcoat and all the other characters in this adventure that are in there, and they're also in are they same ones in Mordecai's Fantastic Adventure? I'm not sure 100%.
No.
But this Isle of the Ape adventure, the Crook of Rao, which you're supposed to find in this, it has some powers against demons.
Yeah, Carl Sargent, that's one of the adventures he seeded was the Crook of Rao. And I guess he's playing off of that module. And it's what happens after that module.
Right. So you have to insert this module, which is actually first edition, into this timeline.
Yeah.
Because this takes place next, as far as I could wean these out. If I'm wrong, guys, let me know. But I think that this takes place after Rowdy the Trader, because the circles, there's no, there's 3 missing members on the circle right now during this. So, so they go and they successfully bring back the Crook of Rao. Now, the Crook of Rao is a rebalancer and banishes a lot of the lesser demons from all over the place. So when this happens, also, Fiorendi takes back a lot of their territory, almost all of it. So that Road of Skulls is gone.
Yeah, exactly. They take back basically everything.
Devils too, yep.
Yep.
Shieldlanders take back Critwall, that little spot, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
They got Highland.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other locations. I don't think the Vestfy, I don't think 10 or the Bandit Kingdoms were changed. But once again, I don't have Casey's Living Greyhawk Bandit Kingdoms where the starting point was for that. Don't know. So
maybe the Bandit Kingdoms get a little control back.
Get a little more fractured out. So yeah. Well, that's what happens with crazy neutrals when you're pure neutral there, Gary, and they think that the good is getting too balanced off, Yeah. So starting point was LGG. Okay. Living Greyhawk Gazette. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this happens. And then it goes back a little bit more. And this is still during this From the Ashes era. Okay. Now, next is the Return of the Eight. A game-changing adventure in my campaign and probably a lot of people's. You go and you go through Gerald Keep. You go and you fight Tuerny the Merciless. And you find a Dretch that is actually the clone of Tensor on Luna. You actually go to the moon Luna.
Yeah.
This was a very, very difficult adventure, but at the end, Aluk is still dead, but you bring Tensor back in this adventure. And
that's fixing, yeah.
And then Tensor says, I don't want to be part of this circle anymore. And he's not. Kind of like Mordenkainen's not part of it. And then Warner Starcoat, Alhalamazad the Wise, and Theoden Ariasin all are new members that are put in after the adventure's over. You had nothing to do with bringing them into the circle. They just say, well, the adventure's over. We're going to bring these 3 into the circle. So it's back to 8. So
you can tell in Roger Moore books because they have the side things.
Yes, and that's coming up because that ends, as far as I can figure out, that ends the From the Ashes period. That book, that book kind of is the culmination book.
They're bringing it back.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so there's a lot that goes on in 91, 92, and 93. Gary, a lot of stuff at the end of 93. So a boatload of.
It was like being a kid on Christmas back then.
Yeah, I was going to say that was to me probably the best era of Greyhawk products ever because there were so many products that I like, the kind of source books that take on the whole setting and stuff that I just love. And then the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer was kind of the end of really cool Greyhawk products. Yeah.
Now I don't know when City of Skulls takes place, and I don't think it really specifies when. You could place it. I think you want to place it after Ari the Trader, but even before Circle of the Eight, it could be run. But this could be placed during this timeline where you go into Dorka and you try and free Holmer, who's in the dungeons there. Another one we never ran our campaign because we just didn't see a necessity to do it because we had already moved on to other Shieldlanders. We moved on to Katarina Walworth, and who came up. In
City of Skulls is in that same realm of Patriots of You, like Border Watch.
Which these are coming up with that.
These were like events that were going on during the wars or after the wars.
Yeah. Once again, Gary brings up, how could they not release Ivedian Dying? I don't know, man. I know they put it in the Dragon magazines.
I think it's when they didn't have any money. That's when they were facing Chapter 11, and they didn't want to. They couldn't borrow any money anymore.
Yeah.
I think that was the period when the floor went out, so to speak. They lost their financial acumen. Yeah.
You have a lot of miscellaneous adventures that go during this time. You have Border Watch, which is on Furyundi border, with Horn Society mostly, if I recall. On that side is Border Watch, and it's okay. We talked about it when we started.
I think I ran it, but I don't remember anything about it.
It is, yeah, absolutely kill yourself. But then again, see, we have some things that I need a bone of contention, and we'll talk about it when we're done here. I have a real problem with some of the writings about one magic item that I don't think should be used this way, and we'll talk about that. I really want to discuss that. And then Patriots of Ulick. This adventure really doesn't exist in my campaign because
that's amazing. I don't know what. No, I don't know.
Ulick on the cover even.
Right, but this assumes that whole area of Ulick has been taken over by the Pomarch,
yes, which
doesn't have.
Campaign.
Yeah, that whole half. This is pre-living Greyhawk.
So the whole Turishmak and getting all the humanoids going on a rampage.
They don't ever come across because of the Border of Ulick.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but I used it, but I changed it up a little bit. So, yeah. So we switched Homer for a Solar following St. Cuthbert and City Skulls. Interesting. Well, that I like. I like freeing a Solar instead. That's a great idea there, Gary. Pictures was the first Grail product I ever had and sold. It did nothing for me. I agree, Scott. I agree 100%. I give Anthony Pryor credit for releasing it or for writing it, but it's kind of and and there's Jason. Jason's like, Jason, you're the naysayer tonight, man. I really love it. He's like smashing everything.
Yeah.
So,
and it's interesting when Gary said that he switched out Homer for Solar. The way I handled the Shield Lands in my campaign was that they fought a war against the Horn Society, ganged up with Bandit Kingdoms in order to take the Shield Lands, and they waged a campaign. This is a couple of years before. They're like 82 or something like that, and a few years earlier, and that was a Grady campaign, and the Shieldlanders asked Furyundi for help, and Furyundi was like, "Oh, we don't. You fight Lilia War. We don't care." And so they were doing that, and they were holding their line fairly well, so to speak, but they were war weary. And then IUs come, and the big war comes, and they go in, and then they simply say, well, you didn't help us when we were almost run over before, so screw you, kind of getting angry. And Furyundi was so busy on their own end, so they didn't ask again, and Shieldlands was run over because they basically fought 3 powers in succession, and that was more than they could bear. So that's, and then Homer was carried off to Doraka as and now part of his bones were they chop off his bones and put it in the throne, and then basically handed him back just the torso, so to speak, and just to make an example and put out his eyes or whatever, just to piss everybody off and make it really grueling, so to speak, and tortured him to beyond anything. So, and then so that
I was going to say, City of Skulls, the point of it, it's a morale booster.
Yeah.
You're not going there because Homer's going to be able to get on a horse and save the...
It's
to inspire Shieldlanders.
It is to inspire. I just I don't like the premise that you can't have good characters going on it because of the techdom. I mean, that. What do you think? There's so many magic items that shield alignment. So I don't know. But it's a cool concept, and everything during this era were cool concepts. Some of them, and it's just like anything as a good DM. Some of them work for you, and some of them don't, and that's okay. You don't have to use everything.
And you can tweak it into your own. You can make your own version of it, so to speak. Use it as a base for your own adventures. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of? That's a good thing, Gary. We should put that up somewhere. What kind of Greyhawk archetype are you? So, all right. Here's my bone of contention. Here's my bone of contention. This item is used in 2 places. This item is used in Durakar during the fields where they like torture people, right out in the open, and by the the Sea of Medegia, the Holy Censor. He's the Tortures of Endless Delights or whatever. Using a Ring of Regeneration as a torture device, I think, goes against the game itself. I don't think that's what it was ever meant for, and I find that a little.
For me, it's just that it's. I always look at the meaning. Of course, they could do that. Yeah.
I know, but that's not what the magic item was ever meant. That's something Tim would do.
Yeah. For me, it's simply items are not meant for certain things. It's simply that it's like the laws of physics in the real world, meaning that's how magic works, and if magic works that. But on the other hand, it depends on if the ring of regeneration, if it's just a regular magic item or if it's a divine item that a god needs to send power to it, so to speak. So you can tweak it either or. You can be one of these that meaning it's an item that channels the power from a divine god. They will simply say if it's a god of healing and a good god that gives an item that can do that every day or once a day. And if someone evil would want to do it, then of course it will not work. But if it's a regular magical item that just works through regular magic, then I think it would work whatever you want to do with it. So I try to make the mechanics kind of make sense from their own standpoint, so to speak.
Good points, everyone.
Greedy, yeah.
Good points, everyone. And Gary, I agree with you. You said it's vulgar, and I agree 100%. So, but there you go. And to each his own. Once again. But let's say that at the end of the era is this, a 2.5. This is pre-3rd edition, and it was kind of surprised when it came out.
But it's a good product. I love it.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, and a lot of people, this is one of their first products that they ever had during that era. And if they miss From the Ashes, and it really ties a lot of things together. It's kind of the Free City Grail box set, the glossography, and From the Ashes synopsis all together in one. I know there's some fun discussion going on right now about. I started this. We just talked about Garnett just talked about the Squeeze Me Teddy. Yeah, that is. I've talked about that in an old stream about a year and a half ago. That torture device. So
that is a sensitive topic, and it's really something you need to know your game group. Don't run stuff like that on conventions. Don't run it in streams. Just talking about it like I did might be insensitive to a lot of people. So I'm sorry if I offended anyone.
You didn't offend anyone.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You didn't offend anyone at all. I guarantee.
But that's something that you and your players have to come up with what the appropriate level of evilness and wickedness and stuff.
Yeah, see, Tim's already thinking outside the box in his discussion down there, so I don't even want to look at that because I'll have another one of my moments I had back in 1983 with Tim. Just remembering the zombie whipping the guy's feet off, which is really disturbing. I have nightmares about it to this day. But trust me, we'll have some stuff. Marquesa would be the endless death. I just think, once again, in synopsis, I think it's just a magic item. It's super powerful, and I don't think it was ever intended that way. And someone used it for that purpose, and so be it. So Roger Moore comes in now and starts throwing in a lot. He had been with Dragon Magazine for ages before this, correct? Doing stuff, and now he's finally doing these kind of publications at this point. And how long, Gary, did Roger last in this? And that is this before? How long did he last? I'm curious. You'd know that.
Yeah.
In this. So let me see. So thank you. Guys, man, like I said, the chat is going super fast on here. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, which is awesome, and thank you so very much for all that. But
I have a bone to pick on From the Ashes when we get around to it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, we weren't still on something?
Pick on it.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm curious.
Okay.
Yeah, so am I.
In the box set, Carl Sargent, this is the era where the elves take over the Lindor Isles.
Oh, yeah. Carlos said that too.
Yeah. And what's weird to me is, all right, in the original box set, it's the Spindrift Isles, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when the elves kick out all the humans, now it's called the Lindor Isles? That seems backwards to me.
I think the whole group is the Spindrifts, and the Lindor was one of the big islands, so to speak.
Yeah, but the elves take over the entire chain. And now on the maps are marked to Lindor Isles. It's backwards. It should have been
Yeah, exactly. It should have been Mark
hindsight.
the Spin. Yeah, exactly. They kind of messed that one up. And I
Lindor
know,
from the beginning.
yeah, and I know
yeah.
Linda Kafka, and I said it first this
Yeah.
episode. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had more than one bone to pick when
Yeah.
that
Oh,
happened.
every
Spindler
show.
sounds more
Yeah.
elven to me than Lindor.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's
And I have another bone after
it's a shame.
we're done with
It's a
this
shame
one,
that
so,
they
yeah.
did that. I agree 100%.
Yeah, it's.
Go ahead.
I would say the other bone I
She
have,
did.
that meaning called Sargent, he uprooted and changed almost everything except one thing that I wanted to change, was that damn elven neutrality isolationist kind of bullshit that I was, and I'm sorry I'm using foul language because I hate it. That is kind of, to me, so boring and so. Yeah, meaning they sit there and do nothing, and they're supposed to be powerful, living forever, and so
throw
on.
in
Meaning,
the Knights of
don't
Luna.
even protect their own kids.
He threw in the Knights of Luna, though.
Yeah, oh, exactly. But they overplay that part. To me, the way I did it was that they kind of said they were neutral, and then they did all the things under.
I think that's Moore's fault and the Living Greyhawk fault. They should have went with the Knights of Luna and opened Selene back up.
Yeah.
Guess what? Doesn't matter in my world.
No, it doesn't matter in my world either. But that was the thing, that the opportunity he missed that he could have taken. He could have changed the elven politics, but he didn't. So
yeah, Gary said you're seriously out of control this weekend.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
I know. I've been picked up for 50 days now. I need to have someone to talk to.
Right. Here's another one of mine. Go ahead, Mike. Good.
No, I was just going to say, if you wanted to get Selene involved, you should have had the Palmars, Turishmak, and all that attack Selene.
Which I had the Dark Brotherhood do that in the early 80s.
Yeah. And but Turishmak was smart enough to not attack the elves. He went for the weaker foe, so to speak. Yeah.
So, what the hell's a moonbow? That's my bone. All of a sudden, you go into Dungeon Master's Guide, and elves have ages that they live to, and it's gray elves can live like 2,000 years. All right, you'll never get there. You'll never die of old age. Why do you have to bring this moon and bow thing in, like from Lord of the Rings, right? You have this urge. You got to go now to Lendor Isle or wherever you go.
Yeah,
that drove me.
That's too much of it.
Insane, guys. Yeah. That's my number one bone. Is the moon? Yeah, the moon bow.
Okay. Again. Carl Sargent is from the UK, right?
Yeah, so he's got hardcore.
Oh, he might be
Tolkien.
He's got Tolkien and
Warhammer.
Might be.
Are you serious, Josh? So the moonbow is what happens. I'll explain it for all you novices out there.
No, he's wrong. It's the moon arc.
Yeah,
it's the moon arc.
Oh, please.
It's called a moonbow, isn't it? It's called a moonbow. I mean, look up yeah. So what happens is they get an urge to go to these homelands at some point, and then their eyes go gray, like they see like fog or whatever, and they actually go blind from it if they don't return. And I specifically, there's a character in the Marklands set called Serenal. He's a Knight of the Hearts who is experiencing the moonbow and is resisting it. And I think he's in the Vestvi Forest section of this. And so I'm like, why? That's my point, guys. So I just, Sahinine has summoned him. That's exactly. See, look, Jason, you know a lot. You know all you need to know about Living Gray from the Ashes. I'm sorry that you got that. So after so many moons, they say, about it was something I just didn't get. I mean, you had Dungeon Master's Guide had age brackets. Just leave it alone. But hey, whatever. You want to change things up a little bit. That was my number one gripe.
I think it's one of these. We need to have an episode about elves in the future, because there's a lot to say about how mistreated elves have been. And I'm a staunch defender of the elves, my favorite demi-humans, and they've been kind of neglected and sidelined a bit too much in
even Katana's having trouble keeping up with the chat, which is saying something, man. So that is awesome. So it is there's a lot of great things in this era.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There are, and us purists I won't say cannoneers because I'm the furthest thing there is from a cannoneer that you could, with my campaign. But there's a lot of things that are really cool that were done in this era. I think I give them a lot of credit for what's that? Greyhawk Return to the Obsidian Portal, wiki pages, people of the testing. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to look at that. So that's an Obsidian Portal.
Mm-hmm. Or
It is
Salak
probably
and
is
elves.
Greyhawk elves are you have Grey elves, which I have them mostly in Selene, but we can talk about that in our show. Sylvan elves, high elves, Grugok, wild elves, and then the weird valley elves, which no one can ever explain to me. Okay, cool. So elves, you're right, and then you have the dark elves. So they're all over the place with elves, and I think when you start a game series and you take a lot of stuff from which they're taken right from Tolkien, because the Mirkwood elves are the Sylvan elves, and then basically the High and Grey elves are, Galadriel, and so a lot of this, and a lot of them are mentioned in the Silmarillion too. Even Dark elves mentioned in the Silmarillion. But when you throw that all into your game setting, then it's just like it's kind of a mishmash. And I think that's what happened. I mean, that's what I see. So I don't know. So pick something that was like your favorite thing during this era. Anna, Mike.
To me, it was those wonderful descriptions about the status of the world and the descriptions of people and greetings and stuff like that in the beginning of the book. That was kind of awesome. I loved it. It was so good, like how they mistrusted others and how how the law worked and a lot of these kind of snapshots from in setting, in game, in character written things that talked about the setting and the mood in different countries and stuff. That to me was really, really, really great. It got into the setting and the nitty gritty, and that kind of set a new tone that I didn't see in the earlier works, because the earlier works treated more like talking abstract about the setting. This was kind of more nitty gritty into it. It was more like when role playing had come of age and the more kind of the role part of the play had got a bigger part in the game, and they wrote the setting accordingly, and that really fit the style of my gaming. So that's one of the parts that I really, really like in From the Ashes. Those first chapters when they talk about the history and how things happen and mood, and from money to whatever, meaning, and how trade and bartering works and stuff like that. It's a lot of that stuff I love.
The personalities and are definitely well developed. I mean, you have all these new what do we call them, ambassadors in Greyhawk City with all really cool developed personalities. They went further on adding a lot of cool adventuring groups and From the Ashes set, like the Krellin's Arrows and the Fighters of the Light groups I use to this day.
Yeah.
Even the Gnarly Men, which my son and Bill's sons are now the living surviving members of that adventuring group in Greyhawk City in my kids' game, and they have a lot of really cool things that were placed as the detail developed up. So and definitely a great point. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, the City of Greyhawk stuff, I got a lot of mileage out of. Obviously, Sergeant era war statistics, I got a lot of use out of, but I played most of my campaigns have been urban City of Greyhawk campaigns. And so to have the City of Greyhawk box set, and then From the Ashes, and then The Adventure Begins in Moorhawk, having those three, kind of, it's a whole broad timeline of material to use on just one city, and so I got a lot of mileage out of that.
Absolutely, the most developed out of all the cities, period, in the entire Flannis is Greyhawk. A lot of detail, and we're talking about with Gary, with the box set, and with the From the Ashes. There's a ton of it. Sergeant Greyhawk is headed in a Tolkien. Well, Jason, it sounds like a lot of stuff did attempt to move it a little bit that direction, and to kind of make elves more mysterious. And I was, like I said, I'm not a fan of Isolationist Celine. I never was. I'm not a fan of the Knights of Luna because I don't know what the purpose really is of them, and they just appear. Unless they are in if they're in, I apologize if they're in the Gary novels. Are they Knights of Luna? Gygax
No,
novels? I don't think they are.
I don't think so, but I think they make a perfect point in From the Ashes and stuff. It's just that
Yeah.
they should have been talked about more, and
Yeah.
and Melf and stuff. It's anything elven. More elven stuff. Yeah.
I love elves and
Yeah,
half
me
elves
too.
as player
Yeah.
characters. I love it. And from day one, we've had a huge elven influence in our campaign with Celine and the Duchy of Ulick, and that's how you get half elves. Yeah.
Comment on
Everybody
Jason.
loves elves. Oh yeah, that was the best comment today. I think that's how you get half elves. Yes.
Yeah. And the comments. I mean, this has got to be one of
Oh,
the most the most comments we've had on a non-Gary Con stream. So, any questions out there on this era? I mean, we'll do our best to answer it. So, Off the Overlook Source of Greyhawk is the outdoor Geomore set. Yeah, that is true. That is actually Gygax's part of the city. That is a true statement by Carlos, which is really cool. Yep.
And
Knights
Gary
of
has a
Luna
good
are
point
the
that-
breakers of Celine's isolation.
Yes.
They're supposed to be.
It's mentioned in there, but it's only mentioned that they're supposed to be, and then nothing happens, so to speak.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
So it'll make sense. Concept. Melf is probably the worst name in Greyhawk after Urag.
No,
Well,
Melf is awesome name, and it's so simple, but it's awesome, and it's just like the Giants, very big. It's like that they're awesome. Yeah.
Gary, do you really want us to go there? What do you? I think I just sent you that. What do you hate most about the era? Mine is the moonbow, and that by far is mine. By far.
For me, was the disappearance or the obliteration of the Horn Society. That was kind of sad. I would have.
And I didn't like
I guess for strategic reasons, if you wanted to make Ayus the big villain, you have to get rid of what was in front of it. So I get it from a military tactical standpoint or strategic standpoint. They were in the way and needed to get rid of, so to speak. So yeah. And Ayus is probably more fun as a villain than Horn Society.
Maybe he's in the Ayus the evil. All right, so now I got to find this because it's going to drive me insane.
Jason mentioned earlier about Sargent having pushed the setting in a Tolkien direction, and that's completely true. When your central villain is a demigod waging war on you, and you have to find a way to destroy him, it's totally that.
Yep, he's the Sauron. So yeah,
you couldn't have any other.
Yep, very, very Tolkien-esque in that way. Yep.
So I have to do this. Serenolil. The true sight in his blindness is only apparent, not real. The cataracts are developments of the moon bow. See that? Whoa. Moon bow. There, it's right there. Not moon bow, which appears in his eyes 30 years past. Suck it.
We are tough all of us in this stream. I wonder what's installed for next week.
Because I just was like, I was going to say, I would write on this one.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I have another take on the elves.
I got you.
Save that for another episode when we talk more about the elves.
I also, and I've said this a couple times, Gary, and anyone who asked on things I don't like. I don't like a lot of the characters they killed off, and Carlos disagrees with me on this, and that's perfectly fine because he says it creates storylines. But Valderessa Sharn is alive in my campaign. Grimmy Fisher's alive in my campaign. There's a couple other ones. They kind of. If you go into the Free City Greyhawk, I think they lost an opportunity where they say, and I kept this, and I used this in the Salen mega thing where he became a megalomaniac tyrant. They just destroy old Mother Grubs and say an orphanage is erected on that site. I see that as a huge role-playing opportunity to do it yourself. You agree with me on that, Mike?
I'm guessing that as they introduced that in the box set, and they assumed if you used it, that's what would have happened. and then they just moved it forward, assuming you would have burned it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
We did. I mean, it got to the point where we did something about it, but that's one of those things like, I wanted to do that ourselves, but I guess we still did, but that was another thing. But besides that, like I said, the player character adventuring groups in there, the detail on them all is fantastic, and I love that about making up, because it's most people belong to mercenary groups. They belong to adventuring groups that are for hire, and to have them developed. And I have my article in an Earth Journal and the Free Swords of Greyhawk. I think it's in I want to say 29. Or Journal 29, I go over all that listing of all the groups in Greyhawk, and a lot of them are from the Ashes and published source, and we've made changes to them all, so that's a good place to take a look at that as well. So let me see what I missed in here. It's cool to disagree, absolutely, and that's a great thing about canon published source, Carlos, is you have Krista, and that's a great, and Sky, renamed Sky, and that's the magic of the setting. I agree 1000%.
Yeah.
Seeker brings up a good point. I often wondered when Sargent was writing some of the stuff that he was lacing any of his parapsychological education into it, but I so far haven't found any clues.
That's what the Scarlet Brotherhood tried to use. That's what they,
So Gary puts, I wish there were more modules, especially super modules. New concepts were done in that era. I'm going to say, Gary, there were a bunch of them done, but they weren't published. Hint, hint.
Oh.
Right? There were a bunch of them. I guarantee you that I did a bunch. I guarantee you Carlos did a bunch. You could put Carlos's Marquesa modules right in that era time frame post-Slavers as well. That's right there almost.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great modules out there and content that hasn't been published that could be discussed in future shows. And you're right, Jason. Night Below is fantastic, and everyone has placed that. Where is Night Below in Greyhawk? Is it in the Yeomanry near Kendall Keep? Is that where do you place?
Sorry, where you place?
Great Night Below. Where is Night Below placed?
Southern Yeomanry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's near Kendall Keep. It's actually near Keep on the Borderlands.
It's in the Kendall Keep is in southwest of Yeomanry. That's where I placed it according to one of the suggested places for it. And Night Below is the southeast of Yeomanry.
Awesome. So it is placed in Greyhawk, and I'm assuming that's on the map too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it is placed on the map for Night Below, and I've been trying another thing. There are publications we didn't discuss tonight because I just didn't see because they were generically based. And my favorite one of all is Bastion of Faith, Mike. If you know that one. That's the one that has the big tower on it, and you can place that inside Crit Wall or near Crit Wall, and that is by Bruce Cordell, it's one of my bugs who has not gotten back to me, like at all. I've been trying to get him on the show to talk about all his. Hey Corey, see you, man. Thank you. Anytime. So I want to talk about those publications, those black bordered ones, which are generically based, but a lot of them are Greyhawk. So what do we got here? Melka Underdog Region. So Southeast Yeomanry. Yep. So Malden has it on his website as well, which is good.
Yep.
So Luck is running a Night Below campaign. A bunch of us are playing it in. Good. That is excellent.
Nice.
So. Final thoughts, because these final thoughts will take a little while, I think. And on the From the Ashes.
My idea, I think that Gary was into something when he said that it was one of these called Sergeant did it because it was his job. He was assigned to do the stuff. So to me, it was very much like when DSR took back Greyhawk from Gary. kind of they made a big definitive product that kind of moved the timeline forward and set a new chapter in the story of Greyhawk, like it or not like it. But that a lot of there've been adventure modules and stuff like that in between, but this was kind of a new take, a retake on Greyhawk and moving the whole thing forward. And overall, I'm grateful that they did it, because it added a whole bunch of interesting stuff to it. And some of it I don't use directly, and some of it I even kind of not use at all. But those are minor things. Most of what's in From the Ashes and all the other stuff that Carl Sargent wrote, I used probably 80% the way he wrote it, or very close to the way he wrote it. And to me, made my Greyhawk gaming way better than it would have been without it. So overall, I think it was a big plus in the book of Greyhawk products. Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah, nice thing about the Sargent era is it's one unified voice there.
It's true.
Yeah.
And he did take the time to do research and develop things. He didn't just slipshod throw out Castle Greyhawk puppets, blah blah blah. He actually gives a lot of stuff to work with. Seeded a lot of stuff that ends up getting developed in Moorhawk and later on in Living Greyhawk. Lots of seeding. Stuff like, for better or worse, Doom Grinder, Lysandra.
Oh yeah, there's some bad stuff coming out of it. Yeah.
A huge list of mysterious places.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he, even all the little gripes we have are way outnumbered by all the stuff he added.
Yep.
We didn't talk about a lot of those locations during these books. There's a lot of them. All right, so Stormkeep in the Mountaineer Militia's in here, right? That's a great location. That Karastein's Castle's in these.
Oh, I love Karastein's.
Yeah. And that is another great location.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Big Dragon Slayers.
Yep.
What's not to like?
A lot of the Dwarven realms that they talk about in the Aberrals are in these books as well.
Mm-hmm.
That are not,
and they give it a reason and a story and stuff and get integrated into the world, so to speak. They're not just loose hanging little places to go adventuring. They also have a purpose and a story and connecting. He connected a lot of dots that were already on the map, and I like it. Right.
And we talked about this during the Wild Coast discussion. The From the Ashes book, along with Oh, that's just, see, Josh is just such an instigator, isn't he?
I love
You're
you,
just
Josh.
such an instigator.
Awesome.
So
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take this remnants of this and combine this with Slavers, and you have the detail all the way up and down the Wild Coast that you need, that we discussed Sunday night. There's some the detail is fantastic, and I am very appreciative of it. 90% of the stuff I really love. 5% I dislike and don't use. 5% I kind of hate, and that's okay. But that's good, because if you are a pure cannoneer and you're going to use all this everything verbatim, you're insane. Because then you got to remember everything, and it's not your own. And you're supposed to, everyone make Greyhawk your own setting.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that is hopefully that's the point of this discussion in this era. Is even though Jason is not I knew see, I didn't even look down there and I knew he had mentioned something. Even though like purists of Gygaxian era like Jason Zavoda aren't thrilled with it, it was a rich enhancement. It tilted evil to a point where it made you really have to think, and it really helped my campaign, because then the Order of Ulick expanded outward in my campaign to work in the Shieldlands, to work in the Vespi Forest, and that was cool. That there were other places just beyond what we were doing in the Ulick states and Selene and the Pomarsh. So I appreciated that, and and you're all out of bubblegum, right, Jason? Absolutely. So if I got nominated by David Leonard real quick to do my 10 movie posters, favorite movies of all time, and I guarantee you, Jason, you may be seeing that movie by the end of it. I'm on day 2. Day 1 was Fight Club. Day 2 was The Warriors. So it's on my Facebook page there. Pretty cool. So look at that. Why don't we got a ton of announcements, a ton of things going on. So And it may take some time, so why don't we do that now? Any other final? We'll answer questions during the announcements part if you have any other ones. But guys, man, wow, the chat has been on fire tonight, which is so great.
This crowd don't really question so much as they correct.
Yeah, or they gripe.
Well, which is awesome. So it's thank you so much, Case, for coming on and
definitely, and we'll keep this going for another 15
crowd.
Another 15 to 20 here. So, Mike, what do you got?
Final thoughts or
final thoughts and then some announcements and shout outs. I know you.
All right, so on my blog, Greyhawkery, I'm running a series of posts, like every other post, of my old TUI campaign, which is set during the Greyhawk Wars from the Ashes era. I did a lot of warring back then, so you'll get to see how I used a lot of this material. And so I'm looking for that because I've been digging through it and reminiscing, and it's like reliving it all over again. A lot of fun. So stay tuned.
It is
looking forward to it. Yep.
Fantastic. You kept all that and you found all that.
I really like maps and I like military history, and so I was like doing it for my own amusement back then.
Yeah.
My question to you is, how long, over what time period is all that? Real time?
Real time?
5 years, 2 years?
5 years, roughly, probably.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And how many people were playing in it?
Not that many, actually. Maybe 3 or 4. Now, when we got into 3rd edition, my gaming group expanded. We started playing at a game store, and all of a sudden I have 2 or 3 times as many gaming friends.
Yeah.
Cool. But in 2nd edition, we had a core group, small group. We got a lot done. We were really into it.
Excellent. So anything else you're cranking it up on? I mean, is your game going well?
No, I haven't been gaming.
No, not because of the situation. Okay. Yeah. Remote play is a challenge. It is really a challenge. So, but alrighty, Anna, what do you got going?
The Atlas I've shown a few samples of, and work has begun, but I'm going to restart it. I haven't done much work. It's all preliminary, trying to figure out how to do it. So I've kind of pestered my patrons with ideas and stuff. So the Atlas is going to be much bigger than was thought originally. It's going to get better, and it's going to be. And the interesting thing is, from the Ashes campaign, that comes with 2 books: the campaign book and the Atlas of the Flannies, and that's where I took the name. So I'm going to steal it and use that name. And this will be 100 pages, Atlas, roughly around 100 pages, probably maybe a few more pages than 100. And it's going for the first one. And this, Alan, you will love this. It's going to have every place name on the map referenced as part of it. I just need to find someone who can use Excel and can stare at maps for a few weeks, but I think I have a few people in mind that have said that they can probably do that. So I need help with that little part. And I think it will be an awesome way that you can print it on 11 by 17 and spiral bind it, or you can there will be like a binding margin that you can use, so if you want to send it and bind it in a proper book, and it will come with legends. And I've stared at atlases, road atlases, and there's a bunch of stuff now for a week, and realized that there's a bunch of cool stuff that real atlas publishers use, and I'm going to use a lot of those tricks and cool features and bring it in. So it will be a little bit more. So it will be probably talking about a 6 months project. I will do other stuff in between, but it's a 6 month project. And the other good thing is I just wrapping up my biggest commission project to date. They've taken 14 months, and I'm wrapping it up tomorrow. Then I will hopefully tomorrow I will hand over the last, or in 2-3 days, and that means that for the upcoming several months I will have no commissions going on. So this will be just me and Greyhawk and my all you guys helping me, and thanks to my patrons and stuff doing it. So from now on, I will work some hard months slugging this atlas out, and I think it will be the coolest thing I've done so far for Greyhawk. So I think it will be a useful base to go with, and there will be future editions of this using GIS technology. This one will be hard work in Illustrator and Photoshop and stuff to get it done, but it will be a base map to go forward with. I think that's why I see it. The map that will be the base for the next decade of Greyhawk mapping. So that's what I want it to be.
May you live in interesting times.
Yep. And also the my Worth project is also moving forward. I'm starting to it will be in hiatus the next 2 weeks, I think, before I do any digging into it. But I'm starting to work on the climate map and stuff like that, and I showed a little bit of it. So there will be an upcoming in probably about 3 weeks, an update on that one, and a kind of deeper presentation on the project, because that will be playing a little part of the atlas, because I'm going to use some of that information I'm doing in the Earth reference project in the atlas as well. But we have to have like a volume 2 of the atlas that we cover more of the rest of the planet in the future. And it's also such a sensitive topic that we talked about before, that we need to move slowly and gently and so on, because it's a touchy topic and not something I want to grab and run away with, so to speak, so too fast. So those are the big things. Yep.
So everyone, thank you, Anna. Everyone knows, or maybe you don't, that Anna and I started with a core group of people planning the beginnings. Zarathon Josh is another one, for a virtual GaryCon convention done by all of us. Okay. We're working on it, and I may need your assistance, others' assistance, but here is the initial, and this is here's the initial logo. Yeah, Josh just did this up because it'll be better than that, but it's just kind of a joke. So we kind of did what they did for GaryCon. So there you go, Josh. Your work is out there. So virtual Greyhawk Con, we're working on some things and sign you up. Yes. So yes, a nice one there. But well, I'm going to need, and I've said this on Sunday night, we're going to need some help, guys. We're really going, yes, thanks, Bishop. We're going to need some help with this. And let's just discuss what's going on with leading up where these weeks coming in here. So tomorrow night, we finish. No, we may not finish. We may finish. I'm not sure yet, 100%. It depends on how they go. We consider On the Trail with the Huntsmen. The Huntsmen are on the trail of a spy / maybe bounty hunter, the Flower, in the northern area of the Principality of Ulik. And we'll see what happens there. And if you saw some of my picks out there, I got some new maps. I got some new underlay neoprene maps, and they're awesome. So you'll see that tomorrow night. I'll be using them on Saturday as well. So that's tomorrow night. And then let's skip Saturday. We'll do that last. Sunday night, our Gabbin is for those who are tabletop or want to be tabletop guys. Geek, that's it. Cool. We'll hit that up tomorrow. Awesome. If you missed the original comment, I said, just yeah, no, dude, I know that, man. It's all good, Carlos. We're good. We're good. That's funny. That's hysterical. Anna, yeah, give the hero point to Anna. Anna will. Living Greyhawk people are snobby and they want to play all by themselves. So we'll talk about that in a second. I'm sorry, Casey. Sunday night, Bill the Master Crafter and Brian Sublime, my other DM, is going to be. We're gonna just show how you can do stuff cheaply. Making some things. Yeah, look, he's even laughing in chat. Very cheaply, and how to get started with miniatures, how to get started with terrain, and some tricks. So that'll be a cool one on Sunday. We'll hit that up. And then next, Jason gets credit for this one, which will celebrate our 50th Legends and Lore next Wednesday.
Oh.
And it's called Artifacts. That's all it's called. So Artifacts of Greyhawk next Wednesday's Legends and Lore.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to look at the Dungeon Master's Guide, Living Greyhawk, not Living Greyhawk, the Greyhawk Adventures box set, and a bunch of other. Oh, thanks, Bishop. Thank you so very much.
Word books, because
Yes,
we have
modules.
to talk about the yep.
Wave, Whelm, Black Razor. There's a lot of them. So that will be. And this, like I said, JC came up with this idea, and I am so thankful. Joe, thank you too. But this will be a week from tonight, and it'll celebrate our 50th. If it runs late because we're celebrating our 50th, so be it, right?
Yep.
Where do we all have to be the next day?
50.
Yeah, 50th episode.
Woo.
So yeah, we'll be at 92 in Gavin. We're getting close to that magic 100th one there. So yes, thank you for the follow there, Nagoya Joe, and thank you for the cheer, Bishop, and thank you for the sub that you give. That's so awesome. All right, Saturday night, big night. We have our normal game Thursday, and then we have another game on Saturday. It starts at 7, not 7:30, guys. 7 p.m. EDT. I'm gonna throw a picture up of this group because I think it's kind of shows what we're dealing with here. So here we go. Here are our heroes in Living Greyhawk. Sorry, Mike, I covered your face, but you have Garn himself, the priest of Kellenin, the half-orc. You have next to him Owain. He's a human paladin. Okay. Next to him in the back row is it's a Trisk. I can't even say some of these names, guys. It's a Troika. It's a Troika, and that's a human assassin that I allow.
Troika, I think it is.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's the Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue Shield, Carlos.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yes, and in the front row we have 3. Now half the party are halflings for Saturday night's Living Greyhawk game. We have in the middle is I almost gave it away. Is an unknown class that is a secret. Is Trask Goblin's Bane. That is Goblin's Bane. That's Andy's character. I'm not telling you guys till that night on that what class that character is. Then you have to the right, you have Welby Bumpus, a halfling cleric, specialty priest, actually a Palor, a halfling, and then to the left you have Susan's character, Alred E. Gonigan, a cleric thief. Notice there's no mage in the party. They don't need no stinking mages. Because so they will. I'm going to put them through the Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue. Now, this is not a remake of an adventure. This is a modern time game. It's not a rerun. This is happening in my present day campaign with these characters, just because I feel like doing it. So, and the Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue are an original creation of Tim, and then you can imagine how crazy they are. And there's going to be a surprise or two for. There's going to be a surprise for these characters. That there should be some shock value, I should say, because it involves Tim. We're going to have no Garnet, no Archer duelists or anything that's not allowed. You get the point there. Negotiating par excellence. Living Greyhawker, and I'm not calling anyone min-maxers, but these guys negotiate more than anyone I've ever seen on getting a character set up. Casey is the worst out of all of them, so just note that. So, but I've taken care of it, and I cannot wait. So this will be Saturday night, guys. And trust me, if you guys cheer on Saturday night for me, I will accept those hero points, guys. Those cheers for anti-hero points for these guys, because someone needs to get their ass kicked. So let's above and beyond all those. So it'll be a blast. I'll play my normal DM style. I won't go out of my way to kill off an entire group. But Joe Selby, Casey Brown, Vernon Vincent, Susan Threadgill. I'm sorry I don't remember Andy's last name, and Ron Lundeen are all going to be playing in this game Saturday night, 7 p.m. EDT. Please watch. I can't wait for it. Yes, Tim has got something, going to have something special for you all. So I had to involve him. So that's what's happening. And my next one, Geek Dice Sean, are you still on? I'm going to run the next one after that. I ran Horror in the Hools at multiple times, part 1, and Carlos ran it part 2 at Gen Con, and Geek Dice Sean and his daughter Stella played in the one at the Gen Con in the Greyhawk Hostel. They played part 1. Geek played Erebus, the fighter thief, and Stella Luna played Millicent Von Kessel. Okay, I'm going to get a group together with those two, and if maybe some of their players or some of the Blue Box players, and I'm going to run Horror in the Holes Part 2 on the next one after this.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes. So, yes, I mean, and hopefully one day we get that published, because it is a fantastic, and it's on the map now, Carlos. We have our Dun Mounds on the map on 576, so I can't wait to do that. And I know Con of Champs is coming up as well at some point there, Josh. I appreciate the shout out on that. But yeah, there are no, because my guy said that they would kick my ass if I allowed a halfling wizard. There's no such thing as a halfling wizard in 1E2E. Sorry, it doesn't exist.
What about in Willow?
Yeah.
It was a dude with a wand.
He was an aspiring wizard or sorcerer.
Acorns, man.
Yeah, he was.
Acorns.
Yeah, hey, Carlos, I'm just saying, I think it's going to be a treat for everyone when that comes out. I think it's going to be fantastic, because now we got it on permanently on the map. But yes, so I'll get with you, Geek and Stella, and find a date that works for you to run Hard and Holds Part 2 on my table. Hopefully you guys can play that. And yeah, he's a druid. There, thanks, Tim. He's a druid. Thank you. Yes. So awesome, cool. So we'll do that. Now back to virtual Greyhawk Con. If you are dead serious about participating, and I'm talking about, we need. I know, Amanda. There aren't enough hours in a day. Trust me, I understand that completely. If you're interested in contributing somehow, let me know. You can let Anna know, you can let me know, you can let Josh Zarathon know, because we need to get a team together and we need to be serious about this. It's 5 months away. The date we're looking at, October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, the first weekend in October. Now, that is a week before Carlos GrogCon, so I don't know if that'll be a conflict for you, but GrogCon is the week after that. But that is that we didn't want to have it directly conflict with any other convention, so that's the date that we looked at, is October 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and we're going to try and work this out so that we're going to have a channel lineup. If you can participate, please let us know, and we're going to and try to make this cool. It's not going to be anything massive, but if we can get like 30 to 40 sign up for games that aren't, that are just being played on the side, and then have a whole bunch of live stream events, like Amanda doing her imagine Anna doing an entire seminar on her campaign setting with the maps.
My version of it, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, awesome. But I hope that we can all get together. Hawktober, it would be fantastic.
Hawktober
is a great thing.
Awesome.
So yes, October, Casey, October 2nd, 3rd, 4th. That weekend, first weekend in October.
I'm writing that down.
We
can have Hawktoberfest. Yeah,
yes.
Awesome.
Once we get whether we're going to use tabletop games or we're going to do it ourselves or whatever. Once we get that all finalized, give us within 2 weeks, then we're going to start getting the things going. I got to get to my sponsors. We got to do all that stuff. So, I think it'll be a blast, and I think the community deserves it. Right? I think we all our own, and it's going to be a non-profit deal. So if we make any money from it, I don't want to hear wizards. I don't care. I'm calling it virtual GreyhawkCon. Too bad, because we're going to donate if there is extra somehow. We'll donate the extras. There's not going to be any money made on this from anyone. All right, so just note that, please, that this is not a money-making attempt on anyone's part. That doesn't count if there's streamers and they get cheers and all that stuff. That's independent. I'm talking about the con itself. There will be no monetary plus from it. Any of that extra money will get donated. So, all right, guys, thank you. What a great night. One
Yeah,
of
thank
the
you.
top. This has got to be it's going to be a top 10 of all time. Yeah, I'll give it. Absolutely, I'll go give it to St. Jude's. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We Gary, we've done St. Jude's the last 2 years for our charity stream events. I'd like to keep it the same, but if someone comes up with a better one, I'm willing to listen. I think we're all listening. Yeah, we're gonna raid. Mike Disney tonight, guys. Okay.
Okay, awesome.
I think he'll like
Yeah.
that. So we should think about going through tabletop game. I agree, Carlos, but Josh Sarathon is talking to JT about costs. And I want to make sure there are no hidden costs involved. So right now it looks like we only need to do a $2 a person sign up fee to go in, and that'll be it, I think. But if there are no other costs, then we're definitely going to use tabletop. But if there are other costs that I'm not aware of, like a $500 sign, I don't know. Then we're gonna work on that too. So, yep. All right. Thank you. I'm going to do some final map things up for my sponsors. Yeah, no, I agree 100%, man. I want to support them there. See you tomorrow night for our group adventure on the trail. Like I said, top 10 stream tonight, guys. No doubt about it. Maybe even top 5.
Yeah, so much awesome comments and activity in chat. So thank you everyone who showed up and helped us doing this. Yeah.
Thank you. By the way, that tree is a Build a Master Crafter tree. I put that all over the place on posts. Like you said, we'll go through this and I'll go to the other NBA thing, and then we'll start the raid up. Yeah, try and hang for the raid. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who raided. Thank you, everyone who cheered. Thank you, everyone who resubbed. Thank you, all the gift subs. Thank you, all the follows.
A lot today.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It all gets funneled right back into the campaign and the game and all the other. Oh my gosh. The time alone spent with these guys getting these characters together. Oh my god. Art of Mike Disney.
Who does he talk to while he's being?
Excuse me?
Casey's asking. Who does Mike Disney talk to while
he sometimes has some guests on. Sometimes he talks to himself. Sometimes he sings, which is really hysterical. But Mike drew painted the Falcon for our fundraiser. And is a supporter of the show, so let's support him back.
Yes.
Oh, cool, Seeker. I will check that out. All right. When this ends and when I go to the other one, I'll start it up. Unfortunately, I got to do it on this laptop. Sometimes it's a little goofy.
I'm contributing to the Bad Guys 2, Tim.
Oh, you're going to contribute to the Bad Guys.
I only need 5K more.
Oh, my God. Oh, that would be so hysterical. Let me see if I make sure I hit the right thing. Boom. Okay, I'm going to start to read up while this is going on. Oh, my God. That's going to be so hysterical, guys. I can't wait for Saturday night. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's get the Art of Mike Disney up here and going. Let's see if we can get up to 50 at least. That'd be nice. Alright, not bad. Heading over.